Hey there guys, it's me, NexGenStriker here. Finally get to do a serious discussion again. I know it's been a long time. Sorry guys, but yeah, I finally get to talk about a really interesting game, my most anticipated game of 2012, Resident Evil 6. And I'm not trolling, that really is. You know, Resident Evil is really one of those games that I really didn't get into, you know, because it was mature. I didn't get into it until my late teens, but after that I really just fell in love with the series. It's one of the few shooting games out there, modern shooting games I'm really into. So, I love Resident Evil, what can I say? But that's just a personal preference. Let's move on. Capcom, they have released some new information on Resident Evil 6. I mean, recently Resident Evil 6 has been a big buzz, so, you know. But yeah, they've released a lot today, so I just want to talk about that. Not so much the trailer as just some of the, you know, interviews and stuff like that. So, from what we've learned, I kind of already gathered this. I don't know if they had said it earlier, but yeah, they're dividing the story into 3 different characters. Like literally, it's going to be 3 different campaigns. You're not going to switch characters. 3 different stories. So you can be like, oh, well, I want to play as Leon first. Bam. Play as Leon all the way through into story. Now, they did say that they are going to intertwine some, but not too much. So, take that for what you will. And they also said that they're adding some gameplay implements. There's going to be some classic Resident Evil. There's going to be some high voltage action Resident Evil from like 5. And there's going to be some new things. Now, what I think that they're going to do is, well, first off, overall, the game's going to be different than the other ones. You can tell from the, you know, the first trailer especially. There's a lot of new things they're adding in. But I think Leon is going to be the more classic, like I've said before. I believe I've said it on camera before. And then Chris is going to be more or less the high voltage action. And then the new character, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, he is going to be more of a, I guess you could say, a Devil May Cry character. I don't know if you can say that or not, but anyway, basically like more of a button masher kind of character. He's not probably going to use guns because he's so physically strong he wouldn't even need to, you know what I'm saying? So one thing that we definitely need to discuss is that, you know, well, in my last video that I made, some people were saying, oh no, you didn't get this person's name right, oh no, this is this person. Mainly the female partners with Chris, well not Chris, Leon and the new character. And actually we were all wrong and we were all fooled because they've all changed their appearances. First off, the girl that's with Leon is not Ashley, which I thought it was, and it's not Sherry, which is what most people thought it was. It's actually a new character called Elena, I think, or something. I can't remember all the new names, sorry. It's, you know, it's new information. Once I play the game, I'll know it, but until then, I'll forget them. You know, that's just the nature of the beast. So yeah, that's who that is. She's a new character, you know, and she apparently has a lot to do with what's going on, so I don't know, maybe she has something to do with the president. Which, speaking of that, Leon's story is going to focus on what happened to the president. As you saw in the first trailer, he shot him. So, you know, now we're finally get to see, oh, well, how'd that happen? What's going on in the world, you know, because America, again, is facing a big zombie threat, which is very interesting. It's like Raccoon City, but done well, you know what I mean? Yeah, sorry about that, got a little interrupted. But anyway, so then Chris, his story is with the BSAA, and they're going in China with his new member, Pierce. And Pierce is going to be like a very vocal and strong team member, and they're probably not going to get along very well, as you can tell. But yeah, I don't know, apparently another bio outbreak. I'm thinking that's going to be more or less like the Resident Evil 5 zombies, at least from the appearance, you know. But there's also a new virus, the C virus, which I think is going to be the return of zombies, but they're not going to be like, you know, they're going to be somewhat intelligent zombies, so I don't know how that's going to work out. And then the new character, I believe his name is Jack something. Basically, he's Wesker's kid. Now, I thought it was Wesker's brother Alex in my last discussion, but it's actually his kid, which is interesting. Who did he knock up, you know? But, it's whatever. I knew it would be a Wesker because, obviously, I mean, look at the guy. He kind of looks like him. He's powerful. He has to, you know, inject himself. Very interesting. He's got that perfect bloodline for the T virus, I think, is what he injects himself with. But anyway, aside from the point, yeah, those are the 3 different perspectives. Very, very interesting. And now I'm going to talk about really what I consider to be the most interesting thing they said and could also be the most controversial. And that is, the control scheme is changing. Now, a lot of people, I don't know why people like to complain about this, but they'll always be like, you know, you can't run and gun, you can't do this, you can't do that. And as you guys already know, Capcom was trying to appeal to the Call of Duty fan base with this game, which I didn't like. So they're changing the controls. Now, my thoughts on that, until I play the game, I honestly can't say, and I don't think anyone else can either. Unless we actually see a demo and see how the controls work, and then we'll be like, oh, well, that sucks, so that's awesome. But I think you can run and gun now, that's for certain, and you can do other dynamic actions. They're making a high voltage action, which I think as long as it has that scary atmosphere, which is what 5 was missing, because there's nothing scary about Africa. I'm sorry, I mean, maybe dying of like a heat stroke, but aside from that, there's nothing scary about Africa, so I think that as long as they keep it kind of creepy, but they can have high action voltage, which they are anyway. I mean, there's no point complaining about that. So, yeah, I think that the controls, like I said, it's going to be kind of hard to judge them, but running and gunning, it could be cool and it might not be cool. I don't know. I don't want them to be like sprinting 100 miles an hour through the city or anything like that. That would just be too much. I think that we have seen Chris run like crazy fast, but I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to make it more realistic, like, you know, if zombies are coming at you, you're not just going to be like, oh, let me get the perfect shot. No, you're going to be running, you're going to be trying to fight for your life, you're going to be grabbing things out of the environment like an axe, which Leon grabbed in the first trailer. So, it could go either way, honestly. And, the final thing that I wanted to say is, overall, the game looks pretty good. And IGN like seriously trolled a lot of people when they said Resident Evil 6 Wii U details, and then you click on it like, oh, well, we're not making it for Wii U yet. Yeah, so Wii U, no go for you. I'm sorry. They're gonna make one later. I mean, duh, it's Capcom, and it'll probably have all the DLC on it because you know there's gonna be DLC. I mean, not trying to be mad or anything, but there will be DLC for this game. So, speaking of DLC, the one problem that I might have with this game, aside from maybe the control scheme changing or something, is dislike content. Not DLC. DLC is content that they release after the game to expand it, you know, to be like, hey, we made a new story or something, you can buy it. No, I'm talking about dislike content, things that they already made and they're locking it off the disc and saying, oh, well, you buy the download code or whatever, you know, to unlock it. Now that I will not like and I will not tolerate at all, Capcom. So if you do that, I swear I'm not going to be a happy camper. But just DLC, it's cool. If you do, it is the person making Resident Evil 4. So like I've said before, I have a lot of high hopes for this guy, and they're really putting their all into this game because Capcom's not doing so well economically. Well, by their standards. So, I think that they're going to try their all, and if they do what they did on Resident Evil 4, which was, like, you know, when they made more versions, like they released it on the PS2 and the Wii, they added more story things, like, well, Assignment Ada was on the GameCube version, then the next one it was Separate Ways, which was the perspective of the story through Ada Wong. So yeah, I hope they do something like that. And speaking of Ada, it looks like she is returning as a main villain. Appears. Not confirmed, appears. So people don't say, oh, well, you said, no, I'm not saying that she's in the game. I'm just saying it looks like she's in the game because looks are deceiving. We've already learned that. So that's pretty much all I had to say. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what I do, and catch you guys later.